All right, I have the mics. Just checking if folks who are on Zoom can hear okay. There's a extra feedback button. John for the thumbs up. Folks are still thumbs up, right, for sound? Nice and clear. All right, perfect. We have some folks who are walking in, so we should get started in about 1 minute. So I'm just gonna mute the mic real quick. With that said, thank you. We're just doing some housekeeping in the physical space, so thank you so much, everyone. Oh, that's what's being shared. Weird. Okay, let me stop my share real quick. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our April. Wow, I'm already fast tracked into spring. Look at that March meeting. I was like, can't you see the colors? Ready for spring. Anyway, welcome to our March meeting. I feel like I see some new faces in person and on Zoom. So if this is somebody's first time attending a general meeting for community board, could you raise your hand? Okay, cool. Welcome. Or at least our community board first time ever. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. The general meeting specifically happens once a month every month. I like to always catch folks up to it. And our one general meeting is really where we vote on everything we discuss in the month, right? So we have 10-ish different committees and task forces that meet and discuss different items. We bring forth our advisory opinions of what we feel should, whether it's a bill that's taking place or whether, in like tonight's case, we have liquor licenses, what our community board's opinions are. And so during this meeting, we do vote on them. In addition to for board meetings, in addition to voting on resolutions tonight, we have a chance to hear from the public, right, for any feedback, any concerns. That way, when all of our committees in the following month, we're able to take back that feedback and incorporate that into our meetings, or just through general awareness, be able to connect folks with the appropriate resources. And then I think the other part that's also a favorite of ours, in addition to the public session, is being able to hear from all of our electeds. A lot of folks don't have touch points with our electeds. We have some in the room, them or their representatives in the room and on Zoom. And so you're able to kind of match names and faces and get the latest updates in terms of what they're working on, whether that's in the legislature or in the general community. So that's kind of like the spiel in terms of what the general meeting is. I'm going to quickly share my screen and hopefully, yep, I show it right now. All right. So if there are folks who are watching on Zoom, you can change the languages. So si hay personas, por lo menos en español, so I only speak Spanish or English. So hay personas que están viendo en español y desean leer, aunque la mayoría de las reuniones en inglés, y quieren leer en español, pueden elegir su idioma aquí en la pantalla de Zoom. Our meetings work a little different than I think kind of your traditional community meetings. So during this meeting, the only time, only board members are able to speak. So anybody from the public can speak during our public session. So that's why we really encourage folks to attend our committee meetings, because there we have a lot more space for dialogue and being able to connect with board members and just other folks in the space too. Everybody speaks for 2 minutes. We do keep time on track. We got kids, parents, jobs, lives. So we want to make sure that we're cognizant of that. So if you do hear the alarm, just know that's your time and why. Second to that, we also encourage folks, right, please keep your, raise your hands up high. If you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Please also use the chat with that. Okay, sounds muffled. Thank you. I'll step away a little bit. If not, I'll switch mics. We use the chat for alerts like that. It sounds muffled, audio's out. If somebody spoke and they want to share an email or a link, the chat for folks who are participating on Zoom is used for that. Folks can always send, we have our staff in the room, so folks can always send any flyers, links, notices to the staff, and they'll be able to disseminate that during our weekly newsletter or be able to connect folks if it's a private situation. And all of our meetings comply with the Manhattan Borough President's Code of Conduct, which you can scan the QR code if you'd like to learn more about it. Okay, spoke at length about the public session. So for folks on Zoom, we have our agenda on our website. And we have, the board itself has 8, 9, 10, 11 items ahead of us. We do have the agenda here in front of us. Do I have quorum? No, right? Okay, so we can't. No. Okay.
20 here. You don't have 4 on the room?
We have 5 on Zoom.
Well, we have it.
People must not have been.
Okay, so we'll circle back. We'll do it. So I won't be able to pass the agenda, and then we'll pass some minutes once we get quorum. So if you hear that interruption, that's what's going on. For today's chair report, usually we tend to talk about a lot of our announcements at the end of the meeting. I hope my committee chairs don't get upset. I wanted to kind of sprinkle in some in the next few months at the beginning of our meeting, because that's where we have the most people attending. So I talked about our committees. Folks who are board members, can you raise your hand to our physical space? Okay, yeah, look at them. They're all right near here. So they're doing amazing work. We're getting into the spring, right? We end for summer recess in June. And so the next few months are super packed with a lot of resolutions, a lot of presentations, and really key information. And so I just want to give a shout out to all of them and the work that they're doing, and be able to highlight it at the beginning of the meeting so folks know to tune in. And of course, this is not an exhaustive list. So I skipped my thing. So April at the board, we do have CUNY School of Public Health, who has been coming to our cannabis task force meeting since it started, right? Nobles, you would say. And so for I want to say even from last summer, we were doing tabling with them because they wanted to get a sense of CB12s in terms of the district, where the knowledge, the attitudes, the beliefs that the community had around cannabis legalization and cannabis itself. This was a project that they did with the Harlem Community Board boards, so 9, 10, and 11, and they're wrapping up with 12. And so in April, we do expect a presentation from them in terms of those results. So if that's of interest to you, definitely stop by. Our Traffic and Transportation Committee, every single April and October, considers street co-naming applications. So these are folks who, usually, I think in the recent years, we've been seeing an influx of folks who have lost family members, who have made great contributions into the community and have made really like hyper local impact. And so they've submitted applications. People who live in those blocks or in that radius sign petitions. And so in April, we are considering applications. The next thing, as you see, we did receive notice of a new family shelter for 100 families. I think I messed that up. 100 families on Wadsworth Terrace. We don't have a confirmed presentation yet. So if you're not on our newsletter, you definitely want to be. If you do live in Wadsworth Terrace or you do want to learn more about the project. And last and certainly not least, I want to shout out Inwood Library for a huge thank you. I don't know where Danita went. Danita, all right. Pass to Danita. Because our Concerns of the Aging Committee next month will be at the Inwood Library, and they meet at 10:30 a.m. And so we're always striving to bring our meetings outside of the Alianza building right here on 165th Street or in as many community spaces for evening meetings. Sometimes that's challenging, but we were able to make it work with the Inwood Library. So if you care about seniors in our district, if you would want to check out the new Inwood Library and see what they got going on, you definitely want to participate. And so you can always scan the QR code or go onto our website to learn more of what's coming up next at CB12. And then I gave a little sneak preview, but I'm gonna go back, which is our brand new Good Neighbor sign. So as you know, community boards work on liquor and cannabis licensing recommendations. And so all of our committees have, for the last, I don't want to say maybe decade plus, have instituted what's called a good neighbor sign, right? So that way businesses can have to post it on the exterior of their storefront. And so that way residents who live, whether it's above, next door, or in that immediate vicinity, are able to connect with a manager or with a business owner if there are issues around noise or loitering that's happening late at night. We know that's been a big concern in the district. We've had the good neighbor sign for a while, but it falls under the radar because it's just honestly was not very cute and it's very small, and so it's not really easy to miss. And so we luckily worked with a team behind Natives who's been doing a lot of our rebranding work to make it a little bit bigger, make it a little clearer, so that way patrons can see it better. And instituting what it has as our as contact information, right? Sometimes you see businesses, you see different people who work there, but being able to have a name and an email that you can always reach out to will make it easier. So applicants that are coming before our board moving forward will be receiving this. They can download it, they can pick it up, and we'll be rolling it out as you see it. So hopefully you do catch it. Hopefully it is helpful. We do appreciate any feedback in terms of being able to, make that connection easier with some of our small businesses. Cool. And that wraps up my longer than usual report.
Weird.
Yeah, it was a weird panel. I was just downloading it. It's not in the final version, I promise. All right, and then I'm going to pass it off to our district manager for his report. And he's up to share.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Always is a pleasure, my pleasure, being here as your district manager and give my monthly report. I'm going to start by reporting that last week during the district service cabinet meeting, we had a discussion about a terrible situation going around the bit 101st Street, St. Nicholas Avenue, that area, that catchment area of our bit. Isidro Medina reported the situation, the condition that was there. You can deprive unbelievable and horrible the amount of garbage and the abuse that the vendors are doing and certain merchants taking away needed parking on 103rd Street and St. Nicholas Avenue with merchandise with products. And we decided to go and walk through, and we coordinated with the Community Affairs Unit of the Board of President's Office, Community Affairs Unit. And this morning we went there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we were joined by the 34th Precinct new leadership there. The new commander was there, and the new two community affairs officers were there as well. Also, the New York Police Chief Patrol Office, the Ambassador Program, also the New York City Department of Sanitation, and also New York City Consumer Worker Protection. And of course, Isidro Medina from the boot and myself, we went around and we inspected. What I saw with my eyes, I haven't been there during, at that time, I'll be there in many weeks because we're working in the office. But what I saw there, I don't remember seeing before. I had several walkthrough in that area many times, but what I saw this morning, it was unbelievable. Pallet of products from one grocery store, from one food store, taking all the parkings in front of this on the side of 101st Street, taking all the parking on 4 Washington Avenue, and having a big truck parked there full of food. So the police department took action immediately. The new commander took a Hummer, and he took away some kind of structure that was blocking the sidewalk. And they promised to us that they're going to be coming and they're going to be enforcing all these violations, and they're going to be removing vehicles that are there parked trucks that they never move at all. So I am very pleased for what happened this morning, and I hope that next month when I need to report again, we have to report some improvement in that area. Also, we have a good report regarding the New York City DOT rehabilitation project on Riverside Drive over 158th Street. This is ongoing project, I believe, before the pandemic, and people are asking me many times when that gonna be gonna finish. And last week during the district service cabinet meeting, they report to me that they have a new date for completion, that is May 2026. Hopefully that date is here and we complete that project that has been in the community and interfering the quality of life in that area for many years. The 33rd precinct reported an increase of grand larceny and other incidents in certain areas that I'm going to describe now. And this increase of incident is intended to break in the car and taking away cars. And this 33rd precinct will address this increase in this area. We're going to implement several strategies. The location where this thing is happening is West 174th Street to West 178th Street between Amsterdam Avenue and 4 Washington Avenue, West 161st Street to West 164th Street between Broadway and Riverside Drive, and West 162nd Street to 168th Street between Edgecombe Avenue and Amsterdam Avenue. The 33rd precinct report that the Captain Diana Castro will be available during the 33rd Precinct Community Council meeting this coming Thursday, March 27 at 6:30 p.m. They have some ideas. They're going to enforce area and security for those breaking with vehicles in the command of the 33rd Precinct. I received several complaints from board members and the public, and last week I spoke with former board member Maria Luna, who reported again to me a condition that we have on the upper Riverside Drive between 157th Street and 168th Street. There's a lot of garbage in this area. I found out that this area is a New York City DOT property. It's a beach or large medium there. However, the Parks Department is responsible for the maintenance of that area. Parks Department reported to us last month that they don't have enough personnel to clean that area, and they are aware, and they agree with everybody that the condition of the garbage in that area is tremendous, it's horrible. It's like it looks like somebody go there and dump garbage. They say they don't have the personnel to clean it now, but they have it on the list. Hopefully, when they have the summer staff that can do it. I have been following up this issue. Hopefully that I can give you a better report next time I stand here. I want to remind you about the Real ID. May 2025 is required, is mandatory for everybody here in the United States to have a Real ID to do a domestic flyer or to enter certain federal buildings. The Real ID is issued by the New York State Department of New York State Motor Vehicle, and they are working overtime during the weeks, certain days, and also they are open on Saturdays. So I encourage you to make sure that you have your Real ID. It's like a driver license with a big star on the side. That means that it's a Real ID, or have American flag if you are a New York State, a United States citizen. So I encourage you to take care, to this business and have your Real ID as soon as possible, because it will be mandatory for domestic flights and many other things that are going to be required that. And this is because a law that Congress passed in 2005, 20 years ago. Finally, help us to help you. If you have any condition in your neighborhood, in your block, please call the community board. Our telephone number is 212-568-8500, or email us, or come to any one of the meetings and let us know what's going on there. We respect the district, but this is a very large community. We have over close to 200,000 people living in this district. It's Washington Heights and Inwood. It's very large, but please help us to help you. Anything that's happening in your area, please call us and let us know. And finally, I want to report something that I got just coming to this meeting is a contest. It calls 2025 Police Commissioner for the Day essay contest with the police department. This contest is aimed to high school students in the city of New York, and one essay that must be the original word of the author with 500 to 1,000 words. They need to be presented to the police department by April 25th this year. We're going to send this out in the next newsletter. Thank you very much. This is the end of my report. God bless you all.
Okay. Tanisha, is that a question for Ebenezer? Tanisha?
Yes, hi. It's not a question, more like a clarifying. It's the star or the flag for the Real ID.
Oh, so I'm gonna put up the volume. You can barely hear in the room, but what she was saying to clarify, it's a star or a flag for the Real ID.
No, you have both. We plain Real ID for everybody gonna have a star. But if you are a citizen of the United States, you may request with the extra payment the flag, the American flag there. That will show that it's a Real ID and that you are a citizen as well.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ebenezer. All right, we have one extra bonus for tonight's meeting, and it actually happens every single year. So I want to welcome on up Sandra. I think particularly in a lot of the concerns and conversations youth and education has had the last few months, I think this is a really beautiful moment. So I'm gonna have them come up real quick. And sorry, that's Sandra Harris from Columbia University. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's always great to come here once a year, as Kathleen said, to introduce our new recipients of the Dyckman Scholars. So those of you who do not know about the Dyckman Scholar is one of over 300 scholarships that are available to students attending Columbia who need scholarship. However, this scholarship is very special because it is reserved only, and emphasize only for residents of Washington Heights and Inglewood. So each year, we identify students that have been accepted into Columbia College or School of Engineering, and they receive this award as part of many awards. So I am really delighted to announce our four recipients for this year is Richie Barua with Columbia College of 2025. And Maki Nantao, class of 26. Jenny Ariana Salcedo, college class of 27, and Shahid Tabid, class of 25. Shahid is international travel at this time, but we do have Richie and Jenny here who would like to just address you and their parents. I would like to ask, is will be real brief, if the parents can please stand up so that we can also give them a round of applause. Congratulations, Jenny. Thank you guys so much for having me again. Quick shout out, I just declared my major and minor for psychology and statistics, so I just wanted to take a second to thank you guys for being a part of my journey and being a part of this amazing opportunity that I have to attend such an amazing school. I also just want to say that I do take every single opportunity to bring up Washington Heights and the Dominican Republic in every essay. Part of that is thanks to my parents and my brothers who are all here today, like supporting me. Thank you guys for always instilling the love for our culture and our background and where we come from. And I take that and I use that to push myself into every single opportunity I can take. Thank you guys. Hi everyone, I'm Yuchi. I'm a senior this year, so I'm graduating in May. Thank you for hosting me, especially because I appreciate this opportunity so much. I grew up in Dykeman. I went to like the school system around my community my whole life. So being able to go to Columbia, especially on this opportunity, means a lot to me. Yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to give back to this community. I have been trying to do that more and more over the past 4 years. And yeah, more to that. Thank you. Thank you all and congratulations. I really want to emphasize the reason why we come to this community board every year. So when we first learned of this endowment that was left by the Dykeman family, they were community board members that insisted that we needed to go out into the community and remind local students that there are opportunities to join Columbia and that this scholarship was reserved specifically for them. So I want to give a shout out to Bob Isaac. I know he's watching somewhere. If I don't say it, he'll say something. C. Simon, who of course is late, and I'm gonna say you were. And Martin Collins, who I have to tell you, every single year make that call. Who got it this year? How many students so far? So really, thank you for your dedication and commitment. And again, our students are just wonderful, and we're so proud of them. So thank you. We have programs with more information on the scholarships, and this right up in here is Bob Isaac. So let him know that you've thought it and you read it. So thank you so much for having us. Oh, okay, all right, Anthony. I'm like, okay, hold on.
I'm just pointing.
I'll be on the- Let me sit down.
You set a start. Yeah.
One, oh, hold on.
Technical issues.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Look at here.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
How important today.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Ooh, let me check the chat. Thank you so much, everyone. So we every time the scholarship comes up, we always make sure to disseminate that. I think a lot more people in our community need to know that this opportunity exists. And so, like we said, every single year we put it out. Every single year we get to see and match the faces and the names and know that the scholarship continues to thrive and exist, particularly in the moment where many students are nervous around higher education. So thank you so much, Sandra, for this ongoing commitment to come back to the board always. All right, back to something quite boring is that we do have quorum. So I want to know if there is a motion to adopt tonight's agenda. I heard Isidro. Oh, I'm sorry, I should call the meeting to order first. It is 7:15, we're officially in session. I make a motion again to adopt tonight's agenda. Isidro, is there a second? That was Joel. Is there an abstention? Objection? Okay, and then we also have lovely minutes from our team. Is there a motion to adopt our March minutes?
But I'm also gonna have a couple of small corrections that are immaterial. I can send them to Alexa.
Okay, great, thank you. I think it was Isidro then, Joel. Any?
I think it was true.
Oh, okay, Joel. And then any abstentions? Or oppositions? All right, hearing none, they're both adopted. All right, moving on. Okay, so we are going to get started with our reports from our elected officials and their reps. Yes,
Procedural questions?
yes.
Are there any cookies available to snack on at the front table? Do you know?
See a batch, but I guess so. Thank you. I'm assuming there's one. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right, anyone breaking fast can also have some. So, yeah, and then there's like napkins and things like that, so we can bring them in. All right, thank you. So we're gonna get started with our reports from elected officials. If it's okay with folks who are on Zoom, we're gonna start with people in the room because we have less. Okay, cool. So we're gonna have Noah come on up. Noah Coy is from Public Advocate Jamani Williams' office.
Thank you for the applause. I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting that. All right. Good evening. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's also nice that it's finally sunny outside still when we come here for these meetings, which is very welcomed, at least for me. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. So first of all, the deadline to file a tax return for 2024 taxes is 3 weeks from today, April 15th. So free tax preparation is available for eligible New Yorkers, and you can find out more information on that by going to nyc.gov/DCA. And I'll just hop into some legislative updates. So recently, the public advocate attended a street vendor press conference to call on the council to move forward on a street vendor reform package and hold a hearing on 2 bills. Intro 431 that he co-sponsored, as well as Intro 408 that he is a prime sponsor of. Intro 431 would help vendors get the necessary business licensing and regulatory compliance needed to run their mobile food and vendor businesses. And Intro 408 would assist street vendors, requiring the Commissioner of Small Business Services to update the department's programs to facilitate street vendor access, along with offering training and education to street vendors. So the next update I have is on March 11th, the public advocate called for smarter and more targeted investment in public health and safety in the city budget. He attended a hearing of the city council committees on public safety and finance, where he pushed for strategies and spending that do not rely entirely on law enforcement, like the NYPD. The next update I have is on March 20th, so last Thursday, the public advocate sent a letter to Mayor Adams demanding swift action to uphold the city's legal and moral commitments to racial equity and economic justice. The letter underscores the administration's failure to release the legally mandated 2024 racial equity plans and to implement the true cost of living standard, both of which are critical to addressing systemic disparities and ensuring a fair distribution of city resources. And that letter follows prior notifications from the New York City Commission on Racial Equity and the New York City Progressive Caucus, highlighting the administration's noncompliance with its obligation to publish the 2024 racial equity plans, warning that further delays are not just bureaucratic failures, but active barriers to transparency, accountability, and equity in governance. And then the last update that I have, which came out today, was the public advocate. He pushed for the staffing and strengthening of municipal housing agencies amid an ongoing effort by the federal government to reduce the budgets and effectiveness of federal housing programs. So at a budget hearing of the Committee on Housing and Buildings, he argued that the safety of tenants and tradesmen alike depends on safe staffing levels and robust funding for inspection and infrastructure. The last thing I'll say is, as always, any New Yorkers who are looking for assistance can contact our office by emailing gethelp@advocate.nyc.gov or by calling our constituent services hotline at 212-669-7250. That's actually the second last thing I was going to say. The last thing I'll say is, I know last month questions were asked to other elected officials' offices about New York Presbyterian's plan to reduce the number of beds in the acute inpatient rehab unit at the hospital. And I just wanted to share that our office is currently in the process of crafting a letter of support which opposes the reduction. We're planning on sending that to the State Department of Health. So, yeah. Any questions from anyone? Nope. Awesome. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have Edgar Tavares from Senator Jackson's office. I think I'm gonna bring this mic.
Good evening, CB12. So, we're currently in the midst of finalizing the state budget. And of course, the governor has a budget that she would like to push through. And the state senate also proposed a one-house budget resolution, which also includes amendments to what would be the governor's budget plan. This is also to prioritize the needs of working and middle class families, especially dealing with investing in public education, expanding access to affordable childcare, strengthening housing security, enhancing healthcare, expanding healthcare to people, and also fueling the economic opportunity for those who are either new small businesses or trying to start a small business and things of that nature. Another plan that the senator is also pushing has to do with the aggressive income tax bill, which is considered the tax the rich bill. This is actually being supported by some millionaires in the state of New York who also understand the necessity of paying their fair share. I'm sorry. Yeah, so on top of that, the senator is also supporting Senator Rivera's plan, which would reinstate CDPAP workers and making sure that not only do they get reinstated, but that they would also get paid retroactive pay for the times that they were let go and without work. And a final thing to also mention is this also has to do with budget negotiations, and this is specific to public schools. And this is the foundation aid formula, which is being negotiated to get updates to fully fund our schools and to get more money into our schools. This also involves updating the regional cost index to reflect the fact that New York City has higher costs for materials and labor than the rest of the state. English language learners, and hopefully students in transitional housing, which also means that there's a strong fight to expand housing vouchers to make affordable housing more accessible for students, and also updating TAP to enable students experiencing homelessness to attend higher education. And this is all part of what the senator is trying to push for to be included in our budget plan this year. And that'll be it. Any questions, you can call us 212-544-0173 or email us. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Alex, okay, good. All right, next up we have Sandoval from Carlson office. For folks coming up to the podium, just try to stand a little further away. Folks are saying it's a little muffled. So we'll test that out.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. Jamila Sandoval, Director of Community Affairs for the council member. Can you guys hear me okay? Tanisha, thumbs up. Okay. She's always the one who responds. So I'll start with the community affairs aspect first. I just wanted to remind everyone that we do have a weekly email blast that goes out. You can sign up on our social media. It has all the stuff that the council member has been doing. And things are, I had to be louder. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So we have an email blast that goes on a weekly basis. And you can sign up on our website or through our social media accounts. We also post updates on our social media accounts as well. So just wanted to remind people of that. He did remind me about the rehab reduction letter. We did send it to the commissioner at the state level. We did have a meeting with them. I'm sure, I don't know if I saw Steve. Okay. I shared the update with Steve. I hope he shared it with the committee that we met with the commissioner and he was able to give us kind of more information on that, and also state that once they have an actual plan for it, they're going to be coming back to the community board, but also to the community to get more input. And that's the main thing that the council member requested. PB, which is participatory budgeting, is starting, vote week is starting March 26th and April 6th. We have focused on schools. We did 1 year that we focused on schools. This year, the kids were the ones who were most excited about it. Noemi has been great in that projects. So right now, most of our schools are in George Washington. Most of our projects are in George Washington campus. So just wanted to share that. Yesterday, we had a press conference with 705 West 709. 705 and 709 West 170th Street with Met Council on Housing, Legal Services NYC, and Northern Manhattan Community Land Trust to call Manhattan Housing Court to remove the owner. Obviously, we all know the history of that. Those buildings, there's a lot of neglect. We're calling for them to be allowed to own and rehabilitate their apartments on their own, obviously with the assistance of HPD in our office. Saturday on March 22nd, yes, we partnered with DUSA, Dominican USA, Naleo, the Congress member, Espaillat, the Assembly member, De Los Santos, and Board President Levine to do a citizen drive. So that was on Saturday night. It was very packed. And then coming up, Saturday the 22nd. I'm going fast? Okay. The Spring Festival is coming up. One of my favorite events. We do it with the Parks Department at Highbridge Park. It's going to be April 26th from 12 to 4. Then we're also going to have skate event, which is where we get helmets and teach the kids how to skate. That is on Loftus, which is Dyckman Park, which is what I like to call it. From 4 to 5:30 is the family session. They actually teach the kids how to skate. And then the adult session where they do teach adults as well. I tried and I stopped right away from 6 to 7. I was like, no, not today. And then I'll just end on this because there's a lot. Regarding the Public Safety Committee resolution that will be discussed tonight, the council member has always had open lines of communication with the board members regarding any type of community concerns. We welcome and we should have a conversation before the passing of this resolution because the issues are way more complex than the bill presents. And it will be important for our team and the committee members to have a discussion regarding that. That's it.
Okay. Oh, wait, now I gotta get up.
Sorry. All right, thank you. So that concludes our in-person portion. And we're gonna move to Zoom. So we're gonna kick off with Assembly Member Manny de los Santos.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, let me get the volume up. Oh, it is odd.
Here. We're set. Can you hear me?
Barely, but I think the party is here.
Are we all set?
We hear him.
I think we can hear you on
All right,
Zoom,
great.
but they
Good
might not.
evening.
Hold on. I think
All right.
we can hear you on Zoom, Manny, but they might not be able to hear you in the room.
Yeah,
understood.
It's super low.
So it's super low.
Let's try it. Throw the captions on.
Okay.
Can you go for it?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time and dedication to our community. I have to admit that I have to excuse myself for a few minutes from conference in order to be here, but I did not want to lose this opportunity to briefly report to you. I promise to be short. I have to, before I begin my report, I want to continue to celebrate and empower and our beautiful, powerful women, Shiro, as I like to call them. We're still celebrating Women History Month, so happy Women History Month to all of you. I also want to acknowledge that we had a very successful celebration at United Palace where we honor our very own chair, Kathy Diaz. So please, you can still applaud for her. Those of you that weren't able to make it. And we also, I know Jamila already reported on the immigration citizen clinic that we had with other elected officials for Upper Manhattan. It was very successful. I have to also say that we have an upcoming community survey that should be in your mailbox soon. I want to hear from all of you in terms of legislation, in terms of the issues that you care the most. So keep an eye on that mailer. The Dominican elected in the assembly are putting together a Dominicans one-day conference in Albany, Wednesday, April 9th. You're invited. You don't have to be Dominican to be present, to show up. If you need more information, if you want to be served a seating on the bus, please call 212-544-2278, 212-544-2278. I believe also one of my staffers is in the Zoom. Peter, please reach out to Peter. You can reach out to Diana, my chief of staff, or Christopher, my community affair person. As it relates to the budget, 2 weeks ago, the One House budget passed a resolution directed to the governor. We're now literally 7 days away from April 1st. Hopefully, that's the deadline. We'll hope that the state budget stay up to date. It's not promised. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we're currently working to ensure that while we introduce on the One House resolution gets passed, gets approval by the governor, and that include the preservation and to maintain public housing, NYCHAD. In addition to that, Mitchell-Lama apartment, which we know needs to be preserved, and they need tremendous amount of capital money. Foundation aid, we want to fully fund foundation aid. We know how critically important it is for our education system. Today, talking about foundation aid, education, and enrichment program, I had the pleasure to meet and receive Coach Dave, who was here with a group of students from the district advocating for after-school program. That's $100 million on the budget. That I think it's not enough money. It could be a lot more than 100 million. But we hope that the governor is able to fully fund after-school program. I also want to talk about the need for for community school to expand the model and the not just the model, but also to continue to support our community school across the district and across the city. We also want to make sure that mental health becomes also a victorious in terms of the number that we're including, that we have social worker also in community school and local District 6 schools. So everything that we truly care, that working class, hardworking New Yorker cares, is included on the One House resolution. The New York Heat Act, we hope that it gets adapted to the final budget on the assembly. We're still going back and forth. We most likely will be here for the next 2 weeks until we get a budget passed. At least that's what we had been told by the speaker. And we'll keep you posted. But this is it. And if you have any question as it relates to education, mental health, NYCHA, Mitchell-Lama, New York Key Ad, environmental protection, and everything else that we know is important, that we all care about, please don't hesitate to email me or reach out to my office, 212-544-2278, 212-544-2278. Peter's also here to take any emails or any questions. I'm here as well. Look forward to see you all soon. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for that. Back up a little bit. Thank you so much for that, Assembly Member. Are there any questions from board members on Zoom?
Oh, quickly, I also have to, I'm sorry, Kathy. I also have to, in terms of legislation, I had been also reintroducing language access to expand language access. We're waiting on that legislation to also becomes a reality. And I also introduced a bill to allow pet owners to have FMLA at the state level. So that will be a statewide bill. Hopefully that gets the approval of most of the members in the Assembly and hopefully in the Senate as well. And other legislation that will most likely start moving after we successfully pass and secure a state budget that speaks truth to our hardworking class New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you. Tanisha, is that a hand for him? Oh, okay.
Yes, Chair. That's a hand. That's me.
Oh, that's a hand.
You got questions, right? Or comments? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
questions, yeah.
thank you, Chair. So I have the same question that I had last month. We really need to hear from our elected officials on our state and city government about, the possibility of, losing funds on the federal side. That's a real thing that's happening. And, I would just like to know, are there any updates or any plans or, since we're in budget season and all of that, on, if things happen, I think it's a different conversation when it happens. Thank you, Chair.
Great. Great. Thank you, Tanisha. That's a great question. This is the reason why we're here. Although the One House budget resolution was passed 2 weeks ago, we're still here. We are expected to be here for the next 2 weeks. As you know, it's a back and forth. We want to make sure that everything that we passed 2 weeks ago stayed on the budget, and that the governor is mindful and respectful of what we passed as a collective. And as you record the foundation aid back and forth, we pretty much turned the page and we resubmitted what we feel is education justice to ensure that our families and children who are the one affected by it are fully funded, including all the other things that I have already mentioned. But this is the process, right? The back and forth. We'll be here fighting to ensure that we get a budget that makes sense for all of us, not just the one here or the one upstate, but the 19.6 million folks that represent your state.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing a lot more from all of our electeds on budget negotiations. Thank you to you and your team for joining us tonight. I want to move on, if we can, to, I think she's still on, Paula Leon.
Hello.
Yes, awesome.
Can we hear me good?
Yes, you're good. We can hear you good.
Thank you. Hi guys. My name is Paola Leon. I am the Director of Communications for City Council Member Shauna Abreu. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying that it's finally becoming a little bit warmer, though we might go into a quick coldness. You know how it be in New York. Just like some of my colleagues have mentioned, yes, participatory budgeting is starting this Saturday. We actually are kicking it off happily with an adoption event. It's going to be happening outside of our district office with ACC. So if you want to stop by between 12 to 4, look at some kitties, look at some dogs, find a furry friend, and then submit your ballot for your participatory budgeting within our area. Another site that we have, it's very below, but if you're literally a little bit lower down in Manhattan, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, the Columbus Amsterdam bid is going to be another voting site for us. We will also be dropping off some ballots at schools, a lot of school projects on there, improving schools. So it's beautiful. There is still one more HPD support date that we have on the calendar for April 3rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will be a truck outside of our district office, but as well as outside of Ascension Church, which is further below. So if you need any of your housing needs to get cleared up or any questions about housing, definitely come through. We also had about 300 people attend our e-waste event this past Sunday. A lot of people have been asking when will the shredding event be coming. So please stay tuned. If you're not tapped into our newsletter, please sign up. That's the best way to find out as soon as it's happening. But we will also be posting about it. There'll be a link in YC. And it's definitely coming soon. People really want it. Also, some exciting thing is that a new elevator is actually coming to be constructed on the one line on 157th Street Station. So that's some big news for ADA accessibility. And then yes, and then we are looking for some volunteers down by 125th Street by George Bruce Library. If you're looking to do some cleanup or some planting some seeds. So if you're interested in any of that type of volunteering on Fridays, please reach out to our office. We could set up a little group. And we also, very importantly, we have a mammogram bus coming to the district, April 16th from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Please sign up this week. We need sign-ups sooner rather than later, or else they have to cancel it. And it's such a great free opportunity. So I'm gonna be dropping the full phone number in the chat as well as the information for it for folks to sign up and schedule their slot. And tomorrow during stated, the council member will be passing a bill that is getting voted on. So for sleep apnea, that will then make it so that if your insurance doesn't cover up to 100, it'd make you pay more than $100 out of pocket to get sleep apnea treatment or to even get tested, then it'll be covered fully for free. Can you repeat what is coming to the 157th Street? An elevator. So they're gonna start constructing an elevator on 157th Street station on the one line for ADA accessibility. And then I believe that's it from me. Oh yeah, and then
you got a few hands. Just to shout out. Oh yeah, 2 questions. Is it uptown or downtown for the elevator?
oh, I don't know that. I will be completely honest. I'm not sure.
Okay, we got a clarification. So it's on the downtown side according to traffic transportation share.
Thank you so much.
Jumina, you got another one.
Did it affect the issue when it comes to climate? That station is prone to flooding.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good question. Jumirna, one of our members raised, so with the installment, that station, for example, is prone to flooding because of a lot of the structural stuff and thinking about climate change. Remind me the last part, sorry. Was there something implemented or designed to address that issue along with the elevator?
I don't have that answer right now, but I will definitely, I'm writing it down as a note. If you can also email me that, if you want to email me that specifically, that'd also be really great, but I am also writing it down to circulate it further on my end to double check it, but we're talking about drainage because it's tended flooding in that area, right? So we're seeing if something has been done to fix that.
Yes. Okay, so we'll connect you with Paola and then MTA usually comes to traffic committee. So maybe we could raise it there too.
Is there any movement regarding passing New York for all bill?
Any movement on passing the New York for all bill?
New York for all. Oof. I'm so
I
sorry.
think that's a state level bill.
Oh, okay.
It was for the previous speaker. Thank you.
Oh. Well, they're still in the here, so if anything, we can DM in the chat. Thank you.
Anything else?
I think that covers it, Paula. No?
Wait, Indiana Porta?
Yes, I just have one quick follow-up question about the elevator. If you could just please add to the list, just to confirm if it is only going to be one side versus two, please. I'd appreciate it.
No, definitely. No, yeah, I'm definitely gonna check in on that because I mean, ideally it should be both because it'd be very silly if they only did it so people could get on, but then they can't get off. It's very.
Yep. Thank you.
I will definitely. I will definitely
I'm
check.
sorry, Paula, hold on, you got one more all the way in the back from Sonia.
So-
Your email, can you put it in the chat and then I'll put in the table in the front.
And then one last thing I want to say is that our newsletter, if you're on a newsletter, it will look differently moving forward because we're entering that blackout period where my council member is campaigning, and so it's going to be very much more. It's going to be less personal, and it's going to be much more just like here are the facts. Here's what's going on. Here's what you need to know. But any questions, anything you need, please don't hesitate to contact our office. We will happily put you in connect with the resources that you need. We are still here. We are always here. And yeah, and I'll put the email in the chat, and I'm also going to put the mammogram information as well. And anything, if anyone wants to pop in anything that you want more information, I can add that in the chat as well.
Yeah.
What was your HPD support date in that?
The date for the HPD event.
Date for HPD is April 3rd, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. outside of our district office as on 141st, as well as outside of Ascension Church.
Okay. All right. Going twice. All right. Thank you, Paula. Have a great evening. We have two more speakers before we get to public session. I know folks are waiting. So we have from District Attorney Bragg's office. We have
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. My name is Fernanda Luján. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Manhattan DA's Washington Heights office, which is located on 530 West 166th Street. On the 6th floor, we're located right next to Community Board 12. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and our office number is 212-335-3320. Again, 212-335-3320. So our high school internship, our gun violence fellowship, and our youth ambassador program applications have now closed. We do want to thank everyone who shared the word, the community board, and also all the youth who've applied. We believe we received for the high school internship program around like over 200 applications. It's a lot of people. But aside from that, we just want to thank you guys. And if anyone has any questions or concerns, you guys can call us or visit our office. Like I said, we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And thank you so much.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you, Fernanda.
Thank you.
Oh, they're not here today. Okay. All right, so we're going to, I'm gonna pass the mic over to Anthony. We're going to transition to the public session.
Zoom, so I think we're going to start with that individual. So that will be Tal speaking on behalf of me. So I'm going to speak. That's you should be able to mute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me? Hi, this is Mary Lady. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, Marilyn.
Good, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Marilady Pimentel. I am community organizer at We Act for environmental justice. I want to share some exciting event that coming up. We have what are the environment and climate justice impact of congestion pricing. So join us that we have Ryder Allen for congestion pricing town hall discussion on this Thursday, March 27, from 6 p.m. This will be the first of two sections of town halls, with the second one tentative scheduled for June. We also have a D3A and D39 candidate forum on March 29 at 10 a.m. via Zoom. And registration information can be found at weat.org/event. And we have a mayoral forum on April 5th at 10 a.m. at NYCHA Development Polo Grounds. And also our monthly membership meeting and controller candidate forums are being held at Prince Hall as well. It's going to be April 12th at 10 a.m. Prince Hall is 454 West 155 Street in Manhattan. A Spanish translation is available at all events. Thank you so much. If you have questions, you can reach out to me at 646-532-1101. Thank you.
Folks on Zoom, can you hear me? Folks on Zoom, can you hear me? All right, we're gonna shift this one. Okay, we are now going to move to the in-person public session. So we are going to queue up the first three speakers. The first is Ingrid Renderos from the Family Enrichment Center, followed by Don Rice from the Dykeman Farmhouse, followed by Danita Nichols. So if Don and Danita could line up against this wall over here, we'll be immediately after them go. Thank you. And then each speaker is 2 minutes as a friendly reminder.
Thank you, Anthony. Good evening. My name is Ingrid Renderos, and I'm here because I'm the new director for the Family Enrichment Center in Washington Heights and Inwood. Thank you. And also I'm very proud, immigrant Latino that grew up in Washington Heights, and the chain property, as I call it. So that's why I'm here to first thank genuinely how much support the Family Enrichment Center we've received from Community Board 12, elected officials, and communities and nonprofits that have been just championing this FEC. This FEC, I'm happy to report we are almost at the finish line. It's taken over a year to build Casita, as I call it, and it's going to be in the 175th Street bus terminal on the lowest level. Right when we're going to take the H-train and the bus terminal of 175th, we're going to have a very big commercial space. Please note, my email address is then my last name, Renderos, so that's R-C-D as in door, E-R-O-S as in son, at myfamilycenter.org. My call to action, please read this, get in touch with us, the casita, the home. It's going to be something we cannot imagine. And I just thank everyone. If anyone is interested in collaborating on what we call an offering, an event in the community, please let me know, because we are unhoused until we open. We finish construction. We're just waiting for a certificate of occupancy. God willing, in the next few months, we will have a, as I call it, fiesta, a very big party to open this up. Because this is about self-determination, empowerment, and the talent that we have in this community. And we want to embrace that and from the community. Again, Renderos at myfamilycenter.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. For all of our remaining speakers, just an FYI, we're getting reports from folks on Zoom that it sounds very muffled. So if you could stand like 3-4 inches from the mic, that'd be appreciated. Next up is Don Rice from Dykeman Farmhouse.
Hi. Okay, this is my first time speaking here. Thanks. I really love the Dykeman scholars presentations. I come here every year. So thanks to Columbia and CB12 for doing that every year. It is an amazing scholarship with a really long and relevant history to the neighborhood. Columbia has been awarding it since the 40s, but the funds to the scholarship go back to 1818 when Eliza Hamilton and Jacobus Dykeman petitioned the state for funds for a school because there were no schools above 155th Street. They got some money, and in 1820, the city purchased the Harlem Commons and gave the Hamilton Free School, which they built on Broadway around the one-room schoolhouse on Broadway at around 187th Street. The city awarded the school $3,500 in 1820 money. which became the seed for this current scholarship fund. So the one-room schoolhouse operated for 40 years until PS 52 was built on Academy Street. And so the organization that operated the school pivoted to a library. They called it the Dyckman Library. That operated for 75 years, much of it on the same site as today's library, right next to PS 52. And after the New York Public Library opened, this is an organization that shifted its focus, but always investing in community, youth, and education. After the public library, New York Public Library opened, it became a Dyckman Institute, the name that it has today, and it operated a museum in Inwood Hill Park until the 1940s, when Robert Moses evicted them from the park, and they decided to donate this money that came from the sale of the Harlem lands to Columbia University to fund scholarships for Columbia, where Alexander Hamilton had gone to school on scholarship in the 1870s. Before it was named Columbia. So there's a big full circle kind of thing that happens with this award, which gives me the shivers. And I'm so glad that it continues to happen and that you continue to have this yearly event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Danita Nichols from the New York Public Library.
Hello, everyone. So listening to this and listening to all of these amazing community things, that things for our community. And in the New York Public Library's mission statement is strengthening community. And so that's what I'm going to focus on tonight, specifically for families and children. I represent Inwood Library, 4790 Broadway, Fort Washington Library, 535 West 179th Street, and Washington Heights Library on 1000 St. Nicholas. So one of the times in a family's life when community is especially important is when it is a brand new family. And that's a time when parents can be particularly isolated. So Fort Washington Library is having a parent and baby support circle all spring. Bilingual leaders, Spanish and English, and something very important for families. It's what we see happening in all our baby story times, is the community of parents that get together and how important that is for mental health. In the next stage of life, when kids are in school and doing homework, it certainly can take a community to help them. And that's what I see in our NYPL after school. Those are drop-in programs. Inwood has it and Washington Heights has it. And so I'm watching it every afternoon and seeing how the families are coming together, the parents are coming together, how they're connecting with the tutor. There's a teenage reading ambassador as a part of this program too. So it goes all the way around in that. So free drop-in program for homework help. And finally, kids are the future of our community. And it's a hard thing to think of right now. So with everything that's going on. So at Inwood Library, we're holding a program. The kids are ready to help them get ready to improve our communities in the future. So that's what I had to share with you. See you next.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Raneem El Saeed from Malika Self-Defense. And then I'm going to queue up the following two speakers, which are Ron Lester and Dr. Gary Eltham. So if those two folks can wait off to the side here. Next again is Raneem El Saeed.
Hi, everyone. It's my first Community Board 12 meeting. I work for Malika. We're a nonprofit organization based out of Queens. We focus a lot on self-defense and women's safety, especially around like financial literacy, healing circles, and safety in New York City with everything that's been going on. We're on a mission to train over 500 women in Washington Heights and Inwood. So I would really appreciate anybody that wants to collaborate. Maybe you can share some of our workshops. We have 10 workshops scheduled for the month of April right now, and we're trying to increase it obviously so that we can reach more people. So if you have any resources, any newsletters, please let me know. My email is selfdefense@malika.org. easy. I did also have a point of inquiry. I don't know if I can say it right now. There's minutes being taken and all the dates that were mentioned are going to be on, because I didn't write them down. There was like 20
All the
different
minutes,
dates.
yeah, and then with the recording and yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Email or.
Sure, Malika, MALIKAH, and my email is selfdefense@malika.org. And I was invited by Jemima with the Public Safety Committee, so shout out to her. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is Ron Lester speaking about mental health.
Hi, good evening. Ron Lester. I'm an advocate for mental health counseling. Thoughts are powerful. Everything starts with a thought. Our choices shape our circumstances, yet emotions can complicate this simple process. Life throws challenges at us: job loss, grief, financial strain, and stress become inevitable. Chronic stress takes a toll on our health. But what if we could manage it by changing our thoughts? Thought management is key, but many of us need guidance. That's where mental health counseling comes in. In New York City, therapy is common, yet in underserved communities, it's often overlooked as sorry. I actually need reading glasses, but I'm in denial. It's often overlooked as financially out of reach. Growing up in such communities, I've seen firsthand how trauma is internalized, leading to addiction, violence, and despair. Mental health care isn't just beneficial, it's essential, but awareness isn't enough. Affordability is a major barrier. Even with Medicaid, finding a provider, scheduling, and copays can deter those in need. Now imagine free mental health counseling right in the neighborhood, no cost, no hassle, just support. That's what Growth and Development Services, GDS, provides. GDS is committed to serving communities that need mental health care the most. By supporting GDS, we're investing in healing, resilience, and brighter futures. And the website for GDS is excelgds.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then next up is Dr. Gary Aldum, also speaking about mental health.
At Growth and Development Services, we are on a mission to expand mental health awareness and create real change in our communities. The mental health crisis is real. The average student to social worker ratio in New York City public schools is 456 to 1. I'm Dr. Gary Alfine, licensed clinical psychologist, founder of Growth and Development Services, GDS, and the creator of the Reach Your Potential model and training programs. Together, Boo Bafu, a wellness specialist and yoga instructor, and I are co-leading the Reach Your Potential course and workshops. This course is designed to break the stigma around mental health, educate communities, and equip educators, youth workers, and professionals with the tools they need to support emotional well-being. By combining mental health strategies with mindfulness, movement, self-care techniques, we create an experience that empowers well-being in the community. At GDS, we are committed to solutions for our mental health crisis. Through our training programs, we will educate, teaching mental health, self-care, and wellness. We'll equip training professionals, educators, and youth workers, teens, and families. And we empower health participants manage their mental health. We support seniors with arts, music, and intergenerational programs. To support this mission, we are offering a Reach Your Potential workshop completely free to Community Board 12 and all its committees. This is our commitment to ensuring mental health awareness reaches every corner of our community. But we can't do it alone. We need you. We invite you to join the Reach Your Potential movement. Become a program partner. Join our Mental Health and Equity Coalition. Volunteer your time or expertise. Donate directly to our cause. Let's work together to support our community. Constituents need a dedicated space, a safe haven where they could thrive. Let's spring into success and take care of our emotional well-being. Let's lift up each other, build a healthier, stronger community. For more information, visit excelgds.org. Follow us on social media at excelgds. And most importantly, that if you need any emotional support or you're struggling, please use the 988 number, call 24 hours, and we're trying to raise awareness about that. That's a confidential support network. It's not just for suicidal prevention. It's also if you're distressed and you need help, as sometimes people are confused about. 988. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Catherine Mauro, also speaking about youth mental health services, and then followed by Chris Whitaker and Emily Cardozo. So if I could have Chris and Emily queue up over here on the wall. So next speaker is Catherine Mauro.
Okay, thank you. My name is Catherine Allen. I'm a constituent. I live over in Harlem. I'm here today, CB12, and I want to thank you all for taking a minute and a half, 2 minutes to hear me out. We all understand that we are in the middle of a crisis. Federal support is getting taken away from mental wellness, and I'm basically a youth advocate. And what I've seen, I would say in the last couple of years, ever since COVID, the diminishing of, I would say, the looks in our children's eyes. If anybody has children between the ages of, I don't know, these COVID babies, they're different. I would say the ages of 10 and 25, we need to understand we're leaving them behind. I'm 60. So we're leaving our legacies behind to take a, I don't know, we don't even know where we're gonna be up against the next 4 to 8 years. But I do know it's time for us to all come together. We need to hold our wonderful elected officials to the fire to make sure when they are passing these bills, when they're up in Albany, I've been in Albany too. I'm a lobbyist. I'm with several organizations, I won't name them all. But we've been there arguing and just pleading, like, please make sure you keep the youth in mind because they are the future. I mean, I want to be here another 20, 25 years, and I want to make sure that they are capable to take care of me and the others that are, getting older. So I'm just here with CB12 tonight because I am part of CB10. But like you said, we're all in this together. But we have to make sure we keep our eyes on our children. They need us. They need the continuing guidance. They need our elected officials to say, hey, we notice you. We see you, we hear you, and I want to thank the two gentlemen that came before me. Growth and Development Services. I hear you guys were here in Washington Heights, you're much needed, but I just want to thank you for having me here speak. My name is Catherine Mauro, Interchangeable Lanes, where you can reach me at on Radio King. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Chris Whitaker, speaking for Fort Washington Collegiate Church.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm speaking in my capacity as a staff member at Fort Washington Collegiate Church, where I actually was full-time for a bunch of years as music director, and now I'm very part-time. Some of you know the background, but I won't give it all to you, but the collegiate churches have faced a difficult financial season. All of the 4 collegiate churches of New York have had a mandate to become self-sustaining over the course of the last few years. Fort Washington Collegiate at 181st and Fort Washington Avenue is facing a very quick deadline to find a long-term rental partner, basically have a letter of agreement signed by April 1st, which is like a couple days from now. All that is to say, is I want to invite anyone who is interested in or renting the space, but who uses Fort Washington either in a musical, theatrical, has used it as a community space, a polling place. This Sunday, the managing director of the Collegiate Churches, Reverend Stan Sloan, is going to be speaking at the church at 11 o'clock for the Sunday service, and then conducting a Q&A afterward around noon. And so it's a time to show up and learn about the possible futures of the space, ask some questions, and kind of get informed. But without being too ominous, lots of things are on the table. So I'm happy to take maybe more questions later, but if you have a quick one. Yes, Liz.
Upcoming events at Collegiate Church that the public could go see so that they could see a little bit of what's going on there that's not churchish?
Sure. Well, Up Theater has a performance coming up starting this Wednesday, and it runs the whole month. We have the community garden. There are frequently orchestra performances. Other people rent the space. The Fort Tryon Jewish Center is currently there. The Hebrew Y is actually ending their lease in June, which is part of the reason this timeline has been accelerated. But Hebrew Y has had activities there as well. Anyway, just want to let you all know that in case you're interested, because there's going to probably be some significant changes happening to that parcel of land in the coming years. And I want to give you some notice so that you can find out more as you're interested. So, and let me know if you have questions afterward. I'll be happy to fill you in all the gritty details. So thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Emily Cardoza from New York City Park, speaking about Highbridge and J. Hood Wright rec centers.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily. I'm the Deputy Center Manager over at Highbridge and J. Hood Wright Recreation Center here in Washington Heights. These are two public recreation centers operated by the Parks Department. I just want to touch on some events that we're going to be having this month. First, on April 16th, we have a pickleball tournament. It's called Battle of the Paddles. If you're interested in pickleball, and you're free April 16th from 5 to 8. Feel free to sign up. I'm gonna leave the flyers for that over there. We're also having 2 Earth Day events. The first one, they're on the same day at the same time at different rec centers. So April 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. At Highbridge, we're gonna be having an Earth Day Seed of Life event. It's for kids 6 to 17, so they can learn about gardening. They're gonna plant their seeds. They're gonna paint flower pots. And then we also have urban park rangers there teaching about the ecosystems within Highbridge Park. And then at J. Hood Wright Recreation Center, we're gonna have a upcycling art event. If you have any old or like stuff that you're not using and you wanna upcycle it to make art, feel free to join us over there, 4 p.m. April 22nd. And then lastly, we have a spring festival coming up that's sponsored by Council Member Carmen De La Rosa. It was mentioned previously. This is a big event. We're expecting over around 500 people or more than 500 people. And one of the things that we're hoping to do that day, on top of the obstacle courses we'll have, the arts and crafts, the music, is an egg hunt. We're currently looking for donations for candy. So if you're interested in donating candy, or if you know someone who would be interested in donating candy, we're accepting candy donations at Highbridge Recreation Center. That's at 173rd Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Thank you.
You have a question from our secretary?
You should come to our Arts and Culture meetings, second Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
So you can present this information. That's the committee where it really belongs at, and we're going to get, I think, a lot of traction.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And a quick question for me, actually. Are there specific times for the candy donations?
So we're open 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays. Anytime we're open is a good time to drop it off.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So you could also drop it off at Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa's office. Great. Our last speaker of the night is Liz Ritter, speaking on Chalk 2025 and the New York City Tenement Museum.
Hi,
Since 2000, so today, March 25th, is the 114th anniversary of the Triangle Factory Fire, Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire, March 25th, 1911. 146 people died. It was the worst industrial fire in New York. It was the worst fire in New York City until September 11th, 2001. The 146 people who died were almost all immigrant, Jewish and Italian immigrant women, actually girls mostly. The overwhelming majority of the victims were under the age of 25. The youngest victims were 14. So an artist in 2004 started a project where every year people fan out all over the city and chalk the names, the ages of each of the victims outside of the address where they lived, if the building is still there, or where it would have been if it's been torn down. If you want more information about that project, as you probably guessed, I was one of the chalkers, and I've been doing this for a couple decades. I'm happy to put this information here so that you can learn more about it. I just, 146 people died so that more people didn't have to, and I would like for everybody to remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. Wearing my Up Theater hat, I just want to let everybody know that was a softball I threw to Chris. Bread of Life premieres tomorrow, 7 o'clock. It shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7 and Saturday at 2. It is a 90-minute, 85-minute, one-act play about, or two-act without an intermission play about family tension and faith, and it takes place in the time of Christ. It's an interesting play, and I hope you can attend. Thank you.
Hey, wait, is this your phone? His phone? Somebody got the phone up here? Yeah, okay. We got more speaker privilege from Borough President's office, so we're gonna let them speak and then results.
Hi, everyone. This is Mariel de la Cruz, here representing Borough President Mark Levine, Porfirio, everyone's other favorite person from our office, had a conflict. I just wanted to say a couple of things very quickly. We had our State of the Borough that happened on Sunday, which was excellent. We had a great presentation of different community groups as performers. And then we also spoke about the vision going forward and ensuring that government is working for the community as it should. People will be hearing about their community board applications in, I believe it is the beginning of May, just to see if people were accepted or not. I know there's quite a bit of folks here that were reapplying to be on the board. We had over 950 folks sign up to be on different community boards, which is actually an increase from last year. And every year we've been growing and growing. So it shows the efficiency and the beauty of participating within the community board process. We have an event tomorrow for LGBTQIA plus seniors. Is a fraud prevention workshop, which will be happening tomorrow at Stage Senior Center. And that would be my report for now. I'll give a more detailed report in writing fairly soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Marielle, right in the nick of time. All right, folks, so it is 8:18 roughly. I think we can do it in 45 minutes, get through results, confident? All right, we're feeling it. We're gonna kick off with public safety. I did see Elias said on Zoom, Jimmy's in the room. Elias, let me see if he's still here. Are you, who's gonna, Jumina, can you present on the vessel? Huh? Yeah, I mean, Elias is not present, like currently, unless y'all want me to wait. Okay.
While that's happening, can someone on Zoom confirm they can hear me? Okay, I see OC nodding. Thank you, OC.
Sorry, go first.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacob Banis. I'm a member of the Public Safety Committee and presenting our resolution to you tonight. Rather than read the resolution verbatim, and happy to go over all the language, but I think I can summarize quite effectively, and happy to take your feedback and critique and edits. I'm sure you'll have some, Liz. I already have a few of my own where I found some things that slipped in there that need to be changed. But to cut to the spirit of this resolution and what we're attempting to do here is across the federal level, the state level, and the local levels of government, there are several pieces of legislation that have been debated for months now that deal with improving safety from lithium-ion battery fires. And so this resolution identifies each of those pieces of legislation and taps the responsible parties, whether that's our state senators or our local representatives, whoever that may be, to help them, urge them along in passing these resolutions. So the laws that this resolution covers are the already, we'll start with the federal level and I'll work my way down. At the federal level, the United States House passed H.R. 1797, which is the Setting Consumer Standards for Lithium-Ion Batteries Act. It was co-sponsored by U.S. House Representative Adriano Espaillat. And this would require the Consumer Product Safety Commission to issue a consumer product safety standard for rechargeable lithium-ion batteries used in micromobility devices, especially those like e-bikes. So this was already passed by the U.S. House. This resolution calls on the United States Senate and Senators Chuck Schumer and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand to take up and pass and for the president to sign the corresponding Senate resolution to H.R. 1797. At the state level, there are two pieces of legislation, Assembly Bill A5310 and Senate Bill S157, both of which aim to prevent the sale of second-use lithium-ion batteries. And second-use lithium-ion batteries are batteries which have reached the end of their useful life and are being resold again. And the problem with that is they can be at much greater risk for causing a fire because their ability to hold a charge is diminished from when they were brand new batteries. So this is at the state level, and that would seek to help prevent that practice right at that level. So this resolution here calls on the appropriate state assembly members and state senators to move both of those bills forward. And then lastly, at the local level, the New York City Council has expressed its own support in the form of resolutions for the aforementioned federal and state bills. But additionally, this resolution supports two local initiatives as well. Intro 0020, which was introduced by Gail Brewer. And this piece of legislation, this local law would require it would require the delivery worker bicycle safety course developed by the Department of Transportation to cover the safe and lawful operation of powered bicycles, as well as lithium-ion battery safety and charging. So that would introduce that as a component of that already existing course. And the second local legislation this covers is Intro 0487, which would create penalties for the possession of unsafe e-bikes, e-bike batteries, e-bikes and e-bike batteries. It would set a penalty of $0 for the first offense of possession and up to $1,000 for subsequent violations. And then it covers the sale of devices as well. So the sale of e-bikes and e-bikes, unsafe e-bikes and e-bike batteries, the selling of which would be punishable by up to $1,000 and also up to 1 year imprisonment. And then the last part of it is covering the sale of second-use lithium-ion batteries, which again would be liable for a civil penalty up to $1,000 and up to punishable by a misdemeanor of up to 1 year imprisonment. So there's a lot going on in this resolution, and that's why I thought I would overview each of those levels, since the wording of this resolution touches upon each of those things, and it's sort of very lengthy, but I did my best to summarize all of that. So I would welcome your questions at this time and happy to go over the specific language of the resolution if that is something we would like to do. Liz. It is on your table. And I read this whole resolution out loud in the Public Safety Committee meeting as well, so there's a recording of that online, available in both places.
Great job, Jamie. Yeah,
Thank you. Yes.
So my question touches on the last part of the resolution about the criminalization aspects. Had had the committee discussed the implications of that and pros and cons before deciding to support the bill as it stands, where it can lead to up to a year in prison?
Yeah, we did discuss it, and I think it's something that we did not lightly, especially given that that nature of that particular law would affect deliveristas in our community, something that not only our community, but a lot of communities in Manhattan and around the city depend on, frankly. And I recall at the meeting, a good focus of the discussion that we had was in the differentiation in the law between possession and sale, where the harsher version of the penalties really applies to the selling of unsafe devices, which at the state level, if we ban the use of the sale of second use lithium-ion batteries anyway, is largely taken care of on that front. And so that was kind of how we looked at that. I think, I also will personally say that I said in our own meeting that I don't believe that you can legislate a problem like this away. I think anytime you're dealing with something where people don't know what they're dealing with, that's part of the problem. And that the possession part of the local law in particular, starting with a penalty of $0 at the first offense, offers an opportunity for somebody to realize, but they may not have known, and so we did discuss that quite a bit, and that's how we've where we've come with that discussion. But any other questions? Yes.
So I'm not able to access it easily, read it and make changes. If there are small immaterial edits to tighten the language or correct mistakes, is it acceptable to accept those after we pass this, assuming we do?
Jim's not here, so I'll say that I think the answer to that is yes, as long as it doesn't change the crux or the substance of the.
I do personally want to say that I have one amendment that I want to make to the last whereas, which just clarifies the language of the laws, because I think I had gotten a couple words mixed up. So I want to make sure that the nature of the bills as they are is represented accurately there. So that's the goal of what I will do with that. But
Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Oh, Chris? No?
It looks great, and but I wanted to maybe suss out. Jamila said something earlier about Councilman De La Rosa wanting to confirm on this, wait on it. I don't know if we can ask her to comment in this moment, but is there a sense of what any kind of controversy is that around this versus Gail Brewer's all in, Carmen De La Rosa says we should wait, it's a little more complicated. Do you have any sense of that?
I can't speak to any office's point or take, but I think especially with the, Anthony's question around the last piece of legislation in particular, there is a lot of seriousness that has to be had when we're talking about creating penalties for anything, really. And so I think that's part of what the sensitive nature of and these resolutions may be. I certainly welcome, any comments or feedback. This was something that the committee had discussed over a couple meetings. So we've had some opportunity for people to weigh in, and, we welcome that at any point. So Liz?
I like the part where the first offense has, no prison, no fine. That's great public education. But the second piece, the first offense doesn't have that. I don't object to that since it is more serious and there does go hand in hand with the public education piece. But is it possible does it make sense to have be it further resolved, recommending that piece of legislation to carry no fine, no prison time for a first offense? It's not a deal breaker, but that we would prefer that language.
Yeah, sorry, I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. So that particular portion of the bill refers to the penalty for possessing unsafe e-bikes and e-bikes batteries to be, that's the first offense is $0, the second offense is up to $1,000. Are you saying that you would like to see that same sort of thing applied to the portion of that legislation that refers to selling those devices as well? Okay.
Realize that it's a problem, then you don't necessarily realize that there's anything wrong with selling them. I would still support this reso without that, but I think suggesting that they make that change seems consistent with the tenor of the conversation you had about it, and we're advisory, so it's not like we're saying we think this is a terrible bill and we don't support it. We're saying we think this is a good bill, and we think this would be a good thing to change about it.
Yeah, I think I don't know that I can speak for the whole committee, but I think personally I would welcome that. And as the person who drafted this resolution, I would welcome that. I think especially given that we don't have really a consumer safety standard for these kinds of devices, it's really hard for people to know what's safe and unsafe. And so that sort of easing into this sort of legislation could help people to understand better the risks and hazards that they're dealing with. So I would welcome that.
So was that accepting it as a?
That is accepting it as a friendly amendment.
Thank you, Jake. This is a subject I think we need to take very seriously, and I do agree that having an initial penalty of no dollars is fine, but there have been just too many high-profile fires, and the fire does not stay in one place. If the storefront is where the batteries are being stored, or in some cases it's being done in someone's apartment, it spreads. There's been damage, there've been deaths, so this is something that I think we need to take seriously, and I applaud the committee for moving forward with this.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one if we're taking Zoom.
Yeah. That's Indiana? Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm concerned a little bit about the bills because it seems to me like what we would need to write, like, how do you enforce this bill? Do you know anything about, like, is it inspections? Is it just after the fact? Like, if there is a fire, then you get charged? And could you speak a little bit more about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll speak to it to the best of my knowledge. Certainly, because we are all bright people in this room, if someone can speak to that better than I can, I would welcome a correction. But we did discuss this in committee as well. And specifically with regard to specifically, the question came up for all of these bills, who is the responsible enforcement agency, right? And so we had a discussion that when it comes to like the Consumer Safety Product Commission, it's up to Congress to tell them this is what you need to do and for them to follow that. And at the state level, I am not 100% sure who would be responsible for enforcing a ban on the sale of certain things. I'm not sure that I can speak to that, but
depending on how large it is, it could be the Attorney General.
Okay, thank you. And at least in regard to the local level, specifically, the first portion, the first bill that I referenced would be the responsibility of the Department of Transportation. The latter bill is talking about an amendment to the city fire code specifically. And so in that case, I think it would be the New York City Fire Department that would be responsible for enforcing that. Although I don't know exactly how that process looks like, I will say so.
Thank you for that.
Thank you all.
And thanks, Jacob, for stepping up and for leading on this. All right, next up, who we got? Nobody got agendas? All right, youth and education. Tanisha, are you here? Are you ready? If you could speak to the resolution.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, perfect.
We heard a lot of our elected officials, well, just our state elected officials talk about the foundation aid formula. So a couple of months ago, we did have a chief Coalition for Education Equitable Funding on to give us a presentation about foundation aid, about how outdated it is. Foundation aid was created in 2007. If you think what happened in 2007, the thing that most of us recognize is the first time the iPhone was created and put out. So we have a very outdated formula, and there's things that need to be added. There needs to be more money for children with disabilities. There needs to be more money with children who are unhoused. There needs to be more money for children who are in foster care. We're also asking for an update to the regional cost index. The regional cost index is very out of date. The changes that that the governor has proposed would actually take about $350 million away from our public schools. So this resolution is very important to hold our elected officials accountable and say that really Community 12 believes that these upgrades should happen and that these changes should happen to the Foundation Aid formula to ensure that our children have more money to properly provide a high quality education. Any questions?
I don't see any in the room. I don't know if you have any on Zoom.
No, I don't see anything on Zoom. So we're hoping that we can pass this tonight and that we can share it with other community boards and urge them to pass it as well. The state budget is being decided right now, as some of our elected officials have said, is due on April 1st, but we expect it to be late. But this is crunch time when we need to advocate for all fully funding for education in this year's fiscal budget, 2026. Thank you.
Do you want to go or you want to have him go first? Oh, let's swap maybe, because then we can do roll call right away. No, like let's do licensing first and then parks and then you can do roll call. All right, Isidro, next. That way you're just up and doing it.
Thank you so much, Chair. Shout out to Anthony for writing up the minutes. Thank you so much, Anthony. The license committee, we had about 10 licenses, but 2 were withdrawn. They're not shown on the agenda, so we only have 8. Just to note, Chair, that neither the 33rd nor 34th precinct were present, and that is something that should be addressed because, as you know, we depend a lot from the announcements and information that are given by both precincts. So please note that they should be notified about our meetings. I hope that that issue gets resolved. On substantive matter, we have the resolutions as you can see it. There are no specific issues. We moved to approve our 2 liquor licenses, and that is because they tend to be applicants that are not looking for staying like really late. One of them is Tampop. I'm sure you know that really nice restaurant, 181st. So they're moving down to near Fort Washington, and they're going to open up a really good place. It's a really great environment. It's a really good applicant. I know them like for many, many years, never had any issues. And the second one is the last one, which is BDC, which is Bizcocho de Color. It's a very well-known establishment, known to all the Dominican people out there that like Dominican cakes. So it's really good food. Type of music that is going to be played is going to be recorded music, staying open, like really not late at night. So we felt as a committee that both these applications really deserve the approval of this board. On that note, I'm going to open up the floor for any questions. Seeing none, thank you so much, all.
Oh, no, Jim, no food.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, you want us to put up the rental one? I didn't see it on there. All right. Yeah. And then we can do a roll call.
Hi, so this is a resolution that, for the North Cove revitalization project, with changes. It had already come through, and so we had to approve the reso at the executive committee level because I needed it right away. It has, CB12 has consistently advocated for, oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. I don't know how that got on there. So this was for economic development, New York City EDC and Cornell Rothschild and Partners attended CB12 Parks and Culture Committee meeting to present the latest update on the revitalization of the North Cove, including schematic designs, current conditions and timelines. Inwood community welcomed the development of a park at the North Cove and increased waterfront pedestrian barriers for access for the neighborhood and offering panoramic river views. In said presentation, updates were given regarding the timelines of North Cove and Academy Street to expedite the delivery of green space to the community. So the Academy Street is on hold. They're going with North Cove first. Over 5,000 community members were directly engaged in the input process. Over 300 input responses were received regarding the project. Whereas about species preservation, the design includes plants that were specifically selected for their value in providing bird habitat, and the partners have made a case that the design will stabilize the deteriorating shoreline and improve its resiliency so that the park recovers quickly from flood events. Concerns that came up, the current design has only 5 picnic tables and 4 cafe tables for community picnics. This is inadequate, so we have requested that more tabling be placed opposite the existing cafe tables and the pebble seats be replaced by tabling. Most glaring omission from this initial reso was the fundamental purpose of North Cove as a wildlife refuge for migratory birds. This was first identified by the late James Cataldi in all focus groups, and community engagement design goals of waterfront habitat and nature focused were supported by CB12 and the Inwood community. At a minimum, this is a marsh, grass, wetlands, marsh area. The area needs a salt marsh living shoreline, and we are calling on the New York City DEC and U.S. Army Corps to lift constraints in this crucial area of North Cove. And that is, any questions? I might not have the answers. Okay. So for that, we'll go right into roll call. Shoot, I don't have mine. All right. Are these corrected? Because I don't have in front of me. Okay. Joe Labrea?
Yes to all.
Joe Labrea, yes to all. Okay, Jimena? Alcabel Ramirez? Jimena?
Yeah, I think she was about.
Okay. Mariela Lee?
Yes to
Yeah.
all. Yes
Yeah.
to all, except the youth and education one, which I cannot vote due to conflict. I am a member of the panel for educational policy, and that body votes.
Okay, so it's yes, it's no, it's a conflict of interest for which one, Rezo?
The youth and education, I don't have the agenda in front of me, sorry.
Okay, Rezo B, and yes to the rest.
Yes to the rest.
Richard Allman?
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Mary Anderson's not here. Jay Baez? Jay Baez?
I have to excuse myself for the youth and education resol, but yes to the rest.
Conflict of interest from,
I work for the state legislature.
This is only a conflict of interest. Okay, so you have conflict of interest for the youth and education resolution and yes to the rest. Jacob Banis? Jacob Banis, yes to all. Badia Barnes?
Yes to all.
Badia Barnes, yes to all. Wayne Benjamin?
Yes to all.
Wayne Benjamin, yes to all. Jim Berlin? Daniel Bonilla?
Yes to all.
Daniel Bonilla, yes to all. Hector Bonilla?
Yes to all.
Hector Bonilla, yes to all. James Bosley,
I'm voting on 3 and 5, conflict, they donate to, organization that I'm a member of. And rest, yes to the rest.
so, conflict of interest for 3 and 5, yes to the rest for James Bosley. Eleazar, absent?
No.
Oh, hi, Eleazar. Eleazar Bueno?
Did you get it?
No, didn't hear you, dear.
I'm sorry, yes to all.
Eleazar Bueno, yes to all. Darrell Cochran?
Yes to all.
Darrell Cochran, yes to all. Darley Cornell? Darley Cornell? Okay. Nobles Crawford?
Yes to all.
Nobles Crawford, yes to all. Robin Cruz? Robin Cruz?
Yes to all. Yes to all.
Robin Cruz, yes to all. Catherine Diaz?
I'm gonna abstain on A and then yes to the rest.
Abstain on 8?
A.
A? And yes to the rest. Catherine Diaz, abstain on A, yes to the rest. Noemi Diaz?
Yes.
Noemi Diaz, yes to all. Domingo Estevez? Okay, Erwin Fernandez? No?
Can you hear me? I'm on Zoom.
Oh, hey, Erwin.
Hey, how are you?
Say you.
Yes to all.
Okay, Erwin Fernandez, yes to all. Luana is absent. Sonia Figueroa Pagan? Okay, so it's number 6, you are voting no conflict of interest or abstaining. So it's number 6, abstain. And yes to the rest. So can you say yes to the rest, please? Thank you. So Sonia Figueroa Pagan, abstaining 6 and yes to rest. John Francis?
Yes to all.
John Francis, yes to all. Barbara Frazier? Jonathan Fermetta?
He's not here.
Okay. Tanisha Grant?
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Heidi Guzman? Heidi Guzman, yes to all. Jody Herson? Jody Herson, yes to all. Marilyn James? Marilyn James? Mhm. Lou Jimenez?
Abstain on A and yes to the rest.
Okay, Leo Jimenez, abstain on A, yes to rest. Joseph Kalinsky? Okay. O.C. Camina?
Yes to all.
O.C. Camina, yes to all. Alexis Marnell, yes to all. Tracy McNeil? So okay, Miles, yes to all. Okay, Miles, yes to all. I've got you down in the minutes. Now I need your mother to answer.
Abstain on C. Yes to the rest.
Okay, Tracy McNeil, abstain on C. We know it's adorable, but please. Abstain on C, yes to the rest. Isidro Medina?
Abstaining on letter A, yes to the rest.
Abstain on A. So Isidro Medina, abstain on A, yes to the rest. Carmen Polino?
Yes.
Carmen Polino, yes to all. Indiana Porta? Indiana Porta?
I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't get the microphone on. I vote yes to all and am conflicted out of the battery resolution.
So what is that? If you say, so you're saying yes to all, but there's a conflict. So how are you
Yes.
voting?
I'm sorry?
So are you abstaining?
I'm conflicted out.
Oh, she's conflict.
She's not voting due to conflict.
Yeah, I got that.
What's conflict?
I work for city council.
And yes, and that, so it's conflict on, was that A? Conflict on A and yes to the rest?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Ritter?
I am not voting due to conflict on 3 and 5. I'm on the board of Up Theater, which received donations or may receive a donation from those two businesses, and yes to the rest.
Ms. Ritter, conflict of interest on 3 and 5, yes to the rest. Bruce Robertson? Absent. Steve Simon?
Yes to all but C, on which I am not voting because of my position with the New York City Parks Department.
So Reso C is a conflict of interest. And then yes to the what?
Yes to every other one.
How about yes to the rest, please, sir?
Oh, yes to the rest.
Thank you. Steve Simon, conflict of interest on Reso C and yes to the rest. Carlin Egbu? Carlin Egbu, yes to all. Anthony Viola?
Voting no on A and yes to the rest.
Anthony Viola, no on A, yes to the rest. Chris Whitaker?
Conflict, I'm excited. Number 7, Popo gives money to an organization where I sit on the board, and then yes to the rest.
Okay, conflict for Reso 7 and yes to the rest. Crystal Woodley? Yes to all. Thank you. Oh, wait, we have to go back. Let me see. Who did we miss? Is Jumana? Yeah, okay, you're back. Jumana, how do you vote? So Jumana Alcobar Ramirez, no to 2, yes to the rest. Okay, have we missed anybody? Domingo was not here. Barbara, okay, and that's it. Thank you.
All right, next time I'll share the voting guide sooner. Sorry about that. All right, so, okay, 8:50 on track, folks. 10 minutes, we have committee reports. Are there committee or task force chairs who would like to come on up who have extra sneak peeks? I'm saying no from business, refer to minutes and look for the agenda. Refer to minutes for traffic. Refer to minutes for land use, Marielle.
I'll be quick. Hi, good evening, everyone. Housing. We had a really great presentation from NIMIC. Encourage everyone to watch it, to learn about their services. But in terms of a forward look, we're having a couple of presentations coming up now in April, including one from, there's going to be a new shelter coming up in the neighborhood, a family shelter. There's also going to be a food pantry presentation. The other thing, which I think everyone is almost always involved with, is the Rent Guidelines Board. They have started their, they have started their public hearings. And so I will share, I think I've shared some of the links already with you, Kathy. So helpful to make sure that all of you are attending and participating and engaging in that process. As you know, here in our district, we have the highest number of rent stabilized apartments in all of the city. So really important to get engaged in that. So stay tuned for more. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Nobles, sorry. All right, 420, Happy Monkey is having an event at the Hudson. So for folks who want to get in touch with their cannabis dispensaries. Oh, Jamina.
Our next public safety committee wall. More self-defense, more geared for women, where they will be present. So if you have any questions on bringing them over to your workplace or anything like that, and for you to come. And also for the record, similar to licensing committee, we do not have a reason for present.
Okay.
This month is very important for us. Many people. I'm sorry, I can't hear her. Start again, dear. I apologize.
Let me put it into the mic because for Zoom. Number one, Malika, so anybody who's left on Zoom that does want to connect with them or curious about their work, they're coming to public safety in April. So any community groups, particularly who have women, participants, come to public safety so you can connect with them and learn about the great work they do, especially in Queens. And then second to that, wow, I just spaced, so it was second to it. Oh, NYPD was not present at public safety, meaning the 33rd and 34th precinct. And of course, their presence is critical because they tell us everything that happens in the district. And they were not present either at our licensing committee, which is already on record.
And the Chamber of Commerce, the Retail Store Accelerator, they have, it's a program, but they're gonna have an informational session on Thursday. At 11 a.m. So sign up for that.
Okay.
In that program and apply for that program.
I think we shared that through the newsletter as well, but the Retail Accelerator, it's a program that Manhattan Chamber of Commerce is hosting an information event. It's a grant fund, correct, right?
Yes.
It's a grant fund. So if you are interested or know any small business owners, our newsletter has a whole section on funding opportunities and that one's there. Oh, and this is 2 days. All right, we're gonna say this one out loud, but 2 days from today, Rent Guidelines Board is meeting down on Reed Street, Specter Hall. So we all know what time it is when it comes to the Rent Guidelines Board. All right, it feels, I heard a motion and I heard a second.
I have an announcement.
Okay, hold on. This is a repeat from last time. If folks gotta head out, I get it. All right, what's the announcement right here?
I have an announcement.
Yes.
Roll call is happening. Please do not talk over each other. Please do not yell across the room. I cannot hear the people. I cannot record it properly. I don't mean to sound hard, but it makes it very hard for me to hear and give everybody the respect of their vote being recorded properly.
Okay, we'll send a reminder on that over email. Thank you.
So begins on Saturday, September 12th. The executive committee is happening when Passover is not over. So
We could talk about that offline. We don't talk about it. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have an
Motion.
announcement.
Hold on, there's an announcement on Zoom. Let's just get through these quick announcements and then we're done.
Okay. The last ASPCA mobile van will take place on March 31st. The flyer is right behind me. I will try to post it on as many Facebook page as I can. I'm asking the office and Catherine to please send an email as just for that specifically. I will also try to get more dates from the ASPCA, but those dates, the last one, the March 31st, designated specifically in Manhattan for zip code 10032, 33, 34, and 40. This is us. I work on this really hard. Please call the ASPCA, get an appointment, get your dog and cat fixed. Thank you.
Okay, and then Steve Simon to wrap up.
Commended for all the work she has put in and which has finally achieved some results.
She has.
We finally get this day to come into our community with the mobile vans and finally provide some spay and neuter services. And of course, my committee and the school board backed her up and passed a resolution to that effect. Let me just say that I would really appreciate it if people would, in this case, take a look at the Health and Environment Committee minutes. Jacob did a masterful job taking down an extended discussion by Ross Bromer, the Vice President of Government Affairs at Columbia University Irving Medical Center, about the situation Columbia is facing with the federal budget cuts. And we devoted a lot of time and a lot of space in the minutes to that discussion. It's very crucial. It affects not just the university, but our community, since our community relies so heavily on the medical research that is done within this medical center. So I would appreciate it if you would pay some respect to Jacob, not to me, to Jacob, and read the minutes.
All right, double shout out for Jacob tonight. All right, the motion's been passed. Thank you. Have a good night.
Who motioned it was Joe,